.40 caliber Smith & Wesson. A little bit of history on it. It's my favorite round. I know I catch a lot of crap for it, but that's why I call them my fat bottom girls. They're still thin, big enough body, knock you right out. Common with law enforcement. Few people in the military use it still, but I still love it.
Pointed away down range.
First and foremost, one of my favorites. We'll get into it. Development for the .40 caliber Smith & Wesson round began due to the shootout in the FBI in 1986 in Miami-Dade County, Florida. There were two suspects, William Russell Maddox and Michael Lee Platt, who were suspected of committing a series of violent crimes in the Miami metropolitan area. The two engaged in a firefight with 8 FBI agents. Both were killed in the firefight, as well as 2 special agents from the FBI. The shooting incident is as infamous as one of the most violent episodes the FBI has ever had in its existence and is often studied in law enforcement training groups. The scale of the shootout was so bad it led to the introduction of more effective handguns, mostly of phasing out revolvers and switching to semi-automatics where the magazine capacity could hold more ammunition. What are the factors in this firefight? The ballistics, ammunition, everything. Up until 1986, this shootout would have been one of the bloodiest and worst in FBI history. Let's take a look at what the forensics showed on the firearms used by both sides. Platt and Maddox both were carrying .357 revolvers, a shotgun, and a Mini 14 rifle. The FBI, most of them either had the Model 459 9mm, Smith & Wesson Model 19, Model 686, Model 36, as well as the Model 60. The main issue with the FBI in this instance was the fact the agents were running out of ammunition and having to reload the revolvers, which the majority of them had used, was time consuming and every second counts in a firefight engagement. The ballistics of them hitting the assailants with 9mm, they hit them in the right places, however, not enough damage was inflicted to slow them down during the ensuing firefight. Although the 9mm was accurate, the FBI needed a round that was going to pack a bigger punch. They needed guns that they'd be able to reload quick, like the 9mm, with a larger caliber with lower velocity. In 1983, former Lieutenant Marine Colonel Cooper had helped develop a firearm that would shoot a 10mm round. The round was as effective as a .357 Magnum round and had double the power of a 9mm, however the recoil was incredibly heavy. The FBI adopted this for hostage rescue, however regular field agents needed something with less recoil. Winchester and Smith & Wesson joined together in coalition to design the new round. It would be a 10mm but with shorter and less recoil, hence the .40 caliber. In the year 1990, an engineer from Winchester Repeating Firearms named Robert Klunk, in coalition with Smith & Wesson, had created the .40 caliber round. It was a shortened version of the 10mm round. The shortened cartridge enabled it so they could continue to use the smaller framed like the 9mm, as well as maintain the same type of accuracy you would have shooting 9mm. The ballistics were impressive and the takedown power wasn't that of .45, however it was still very manageable. Smith & Wesson had developed the first firearm that would carry this, the 4006, however, newcomer Glock got the drop and actually released the Glock 22 and the Glock 23 pistols before this was actually out and available for people to purchase. Smith & Wesson filed a patent and production began, and every law enforcement agency in the United States began to use it, and it's been one of my favorites